Before we get started, please go over to Amazon.com and grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African-American son in public school, you need this book because I teach you the many ways that public schools mistreat African-American boys and what you can do to help your son. So go over there and get your copy immediately. All right, everybody. All right. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. And makes me think of the old OJ songs. Living for the weekend, right? So the weekend is upon us, and I hope you have a really good weekend, a really safe weekend. All right, so before we get into today's story, let me make an announcement, or let me give you a reminder that our website is up. Our website is up. I couldn't be happier. It is another way for us to get out the message and to empower the African-American community, right? With our website. We had been using the website of the Lazarus Law and Justice Project, which is our nonprofit organization, but we wanted to have a website just for the Defiant Lawyers .network. And so we have that. It is sort of a news type of website. So we try to update the website with the latest news that, news is breaking so much is going on that it's almost hard to do. In fact, if some of you all have journalism skills and you would like to help with the website, writing articles and so forth, please contact us. Let us know. We could definitely use the help. Okay? So go visit that website. It is the Defiant Lawyers .network. The Defiant Lawyers .network. You put that in, we will come up. Okay? And let me do something else. Let me shout out Black women. I have a special just admiration and honor and love for African-American women. You all are just special. If I were president, I would make today National Black Women Day. Today. In fact, I would make it National Black Women Day every day on the calendar because you all are just really special. I love you. I grew up seeing strong Black women, my grandmother being one of the strongest women I've ever seen, Ella Middlebrook. And we called her just simply Grandma. She was the matriarch of the family. My grandfather died when I was like 1 or 2 years old, so I don't have any memory of him, but she was the anchor of the family. And she had a whole bunch of daughters, so I grew up around a whole bunch of aunties. And they, too, were just strong, beautiful Black women. So I have a special love in my heart for Black women. And let me shout out, I have one last aunt living. Her name is Marie. Aunt Marie, we love you. Blessings to you. And just want to shout you all out today. Okay? So we just appreciate all you all have done over the years to hold down the Black community. Hey, family, do you believe in the work we're doing? Does our content speak to you? Do you appreciate our in-depth legal analysis and political commentary from an African-American perspective? Do you believe it matters to our community? Then don't just watch from the sidelines. Please click that membership button and become a member of the 2% Club today. That's right, we need just 2% of our subscribers to become channel members. For just $4.99 a month, that's less than 20 cents a day, you'll help us keep creating powerful content that defends our democracy, demands justice, and develops a strong African-American community. But if you want more, at $9.99 a month, which is only 33 cents a day, you'll get access to exclusive members-only live streams, bonus content, and behind-the-scenes updates. And for just $14.99 a month, which is under 50 cents a day, our top-tier members get access to live Zoom calls, strategy sessions, and a direct voice in shaping this movement. We're not just building a YouTube channel. Folks, we're building a movement based on righteousness and justice. Just what our community needs in a time of disinformation and division. So if you believe in what we're doing, click the membership button and join now. Become a member of the 2% Club today. Let's build something powerful together. Now, with that said, I want to talk about a black woman. She needs our prayers. And I'm talking about Federal Reserve Governor Lisa D. Cook. Let me bring her up. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa D. Cook. Now, she is the first black woman to serve on the Federal Reserve Board. That is really an accomplishment. First African-American woman to sit on this board. And now she's facing new, unsubstantiated scrutiny. Okay, she is being scrutinized. I'm going to get into it here a little bit. And so far, that scrutiny is unsubstantiated. A man named Bill Pulte, he is the Trump-appointed head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. And he has formally referred Ms. Cook to the Justice Department. And he is asking for a possible investigation because he alleges that Ms. Cook committed mortgage fraud by signing two mortgages in 2021, one in Michigan and another in Georgia. Right? And he's alleging that she signed both of them as if they were her primary residence. All right, so he has referred her, accusing her of breaking the law. Now, soon after he made that referral, President Trump called for Ms. Cook's resignation. Now, I'm calling her Ms. Cook. She may be Mrs. Cook. I don't know if she's married or single, but I mean no disrespect either way. Anyway, he's calling for Ms. Cook to step down. Okay? So things right now for Ms. Cook is no charges have been filed. The Justice Department hasn't, the last I checked, hasn't announced that an investigation is occurring, but we can assume that there probably is or will be an investigation. Because we know that Trump wants to get folks on that board that sort of fit his mold, right? So he's trying to get Jerome Powell off the board now, who is the chief on the board, the chairman of the board, but he wants his own people there, okay? And for whatever reason, Ms. Cook has now found herself in the middle of the hurricane, all right? And she has denied all these allegations, and she said, she pushed back, she said that Trump would not bully her into resigning. In fact, I think her term lasts until 2028. So she has another 4 years or so on her term. All right. And she says she's standing strong. So at this point, the allegations that Mr. Pulte made are unsubstantiated and they're just mere allegations. So who is Lisa Cook? Who is Governor Cook? So she is a highly respected economist and a former professor at Michigan State University. And her research, she's done research, she's a researcher as well. Her research is on race, innovation, and economic growth. And her research has been highly cited, including her work showing how racial violence reduced black patenting in the early 20th century. In other words, the violence that African Americans experienced in the early part of the 20th century had an impact on blacks' ability to get patents. Very, very good research. So she joined the Federal Reserve Board in 2022 and was reappointed in 2023 to a term that runs through until 2038. I said 2028. Wow, 2038. So she is just really starting on her appointment. And so no wonder she's pushing back and saying, essentially, she's not going anywhere. Okay? All right, now, that's a little bit about Ms. Cook. So who is the man that referred her to the DOJ? Again, his name is Bill Pulte. And he referred her and is asking the DOJ to investigate his allegations that she committed mortgage fraud. Now, the Senate confirmed Mr. Pulte in March of 2025, so he's been in the job just a few months. And as director of FHFA, which oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, those are the big mortgage lending companies that oversee a lot of the government mortgage loans. So he's in a really important job where mortgages are concerned. In fact, he comes himself, personally, he comes from the well-known Pulte home building family. They build houses all around the country, the Pulte Home Building Company. And he has been very active in philanthropic work and public communications. And so he's well known. He's a very successful, very wealthy businessman, home builder. And now he's working for Trump. And so he has set his sights on Ms. Cook. All right. Now, why does it matter? Why does this matter? Why am I bringing you this story? Because it's not just about these mortgage allegations. All right. I'm confident that Ms. Cook is not guilty of mortgage allegations. And if they were to bring an investigation and if they were able to get an indictment down the road, she is still presumed innocent. She is still presumed innocent. So just presume, as I just did, that Ms. Cook is innocent of all of these allegations. The government has the job, if it gets an indictment, it first has to convince a grand jury that there's probable cause that she even broke the law, if they go in that direction. And then they're going to have to present enough evidence to a regular jury to show that she committed these allegations or is guilty of these allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a very high standard. So we are a long ways away from anything like that. So again, presume that Ms. Cook is innocent. But there are other reasons why this is important. First, it's important because of the independence of the Federal Reserve Board. It is extremely important that the Federal Reserve remains independent of political pressure, right? Its independence is critical for many reasons, most especially, for example, the stability of markets, the stability of corporations, interest rates, and so on. So it is very important that the American people and foreign countries can all have confidence in the decisions that the Fed make and that they're not really just working for the White House. So that's the first issue why this is much more important than these unsubstantiated allegations at this point that Ms. Cook has committed any sort of mortgage fraud. There's another reason why this is important. Because calling for her resignation before any investigation is done and concluded, before she has seen or been given any due process rights, that highlights what I'm talking about, the political pressure surrounding the Fed right now. Okay? And listen, Trump is on top of Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, because Trump wants interest rates lowered. And Powell is, he has refused to do that because he's keeping his eye on the effects of the tariffs, right? He doesn't want to lower interest rate and cause inflation to rise, which could happen. So he's being thoughtful, he's being judicious. Now, with all that said, yes, I would love to see the rates lowered myself, right? As a consumer, I would love to see the rates of the things we buy, the cars, the vehicles, the houses, and so on, lowered. So if it's time to lower them, yes, we all want Mr. Powell to lower those interest rates. All right. Now, as of today, he gave a speech today, and he sort of indicated that there would be a lowering of interest rates. And just before I got here to do this video, I saw that the stock market responded very favorably, and I think it shot up about 700 points. So everybody is waiting with bated breath for the feds to lower the interest rates. You know, you take, for example, mortgage right now is above 6%. And I remember, man, before the pandemic, mortgage rates were around 3%. So let's get them down if it's time to get them down. But that should be an independent decision of the feds, right? There should be no political pressure coming from the White House. And if Ms. Cook was to be forced out, you know, it would reshape the composition of the Fed's policy-making board with consequences. As I said, consequences for interest rates, jobs, the economy. And again, it would suggest that the Fed is no longer independent, that it is now under the control of the White House. That's not the way it has been in American history. And it hasn't been that way in American history for a good reason. And I've gone through some of those reasons. Third of all, this issue is important because it begs the question of whether or not Trump is just simply going after another black woman under his anti-DEI, anti-black policies. Blacks generally, and especially black women, have suffered from Trump's anti-DEI war. I did a video a month or so ago showing you, giving you receipts, that unemployment had risen greatly for black women. And then the next month, we see that black unemployment has risen generally for black people. Now, that is not the result that the blacks who voted for Trump were expecting. But here we are. And there are a whole lot of other things that Trump is doing, I'm thinking the blacks who supported him were not expecting. Right? That's why I did the videos last year warning you of what was coming, because they laid it out in Project 2025. And by the way, I got a video coming out where I'm going to talk about what we should be doing as a people, African Americans, now that a lot of Project 2025 is in place. That video should be coming out really soon. All right. So for those three reasons, we need to be concerned about this, not only because of how it could impact Miss Lisa Cook's life personally, and that we should be concerned about, and we should be praying for her, right? Again, she's presumed innocent, and I just personally believe that she is innocent of all of these allegations. So my heart goes out to her. And it is the reason why I said that I just honor black women, because you all are fighting this fight in many ways. In many ways, you all are fighting this fight. And our community owes you a debt of gratitude. All right, so that's what's going on with Ms. Cook. That's what's going on with the Federal Reserve Board. That's what's going on with just a slice of what's happening in this country. So much more is going on. But that is a story that I wanted to bring you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for becoming members. Thank you for visiting the website. Thank you for sharing our videos. Thank you for all that you do to help the Defiant Lawyers get the message out. All right? This coming Sunday, I'm going to be doing a special message having to do with what we as African Americans should be doing on the, if you will, spiritual or religious part of things. That's a very important part of life. Remember, I am a minister, first and foremost, and then I'm an attorney, an author, an activist, and all of that. Until then, you all have a really, really, really great weekend. All right? I am Reverend Civil Rights Attorney Augustus Corbett. Thank you for watching this video, and remember, stay woke.